Namaskar and good evening to the viewers of Pandit Ravi Shankar Music Foundation. We are here celebrating the 100 years of none other than Bharatan Pandit Ravi Shankar ji through our episodes known as Reflections. Today, friends, we are having our 46th episode. And today, the guest who will be sharing the memories of Pandit Ravi Shankar ji is from a renowned business family of the well-known Shriram and DCM group with a legacy of more than 100 years. He is a leader in scientific innovation, product development, and manufacturing. He is the chairman of the SRF Limited, leading industrial group specializing in the manufacturing of technical textiles, floral chemicals, packaging films, and furor specialties. A graduate from University of Michigan, in addition to his sizable business ventures, he is accomplished sitar player and taught by none other than Bharatan Pandit Ravi Shankar ji. And he have also a big supporter of classical art, and he is none other than Arun Bharatramji. On behalf of Pandit Ravi Shankar Music Foundation, I welcome Arun Bharatramji. Uncle, namaste.
Namaskar, namaskar. I hope
Nice
you
to
can
see you,
hear
Uncle.
me.
Yeah, it's
Thank
audible,
you.
Uncle. It's very nice to see
Thank
you,
you.
Uncle.
Thank you for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to speak about my Guru.
We are obliged to have your blessings to the show, Uncle.
Thank you.
And
Thank
to
you.
speak to Arun Bharatramji, we are having disciple of Pandit Ravi Shankar ji, Gaurav Majumdar.
Namaste, Navarun.
Namaste, Dada. Good evening.
Arunji.
Even Minister.
Arunji, namaste.
Namaste.
Pranams to you, Arunji. What a pleasure.
Namaskar. Thank you. I hope you're well, Gaurav.
Fine, with your blessings, fine. Yes, Arunji, thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you are fine.
Thank you for inviting me, Gaurav. Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. Welcome, Arunji. It's a pleasure and an honor. And the program wouldn't be complete without you. The series we are doing, Reflections, speaking on Guruji, it will not be complete. It will be incomplete without you. So we should have you. And I'm so glad that we are going to speak to you. Arunji, without speaking, is it possible that we begin today's conversation with some music?
You want me to play something?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Arunji.
Okay. Well, you had told me earlier, so I had prepared and kept my sitar with me. So I'm honored, really honored to play for Guruji, and I hope somewhere he is listening to it.
Yes.
And at the end of it, he will say, "तुमने तालीम ठीक हासिल की थी." So I'll play a short alap and jor in one of his favorite rags, one of my favorite rags, Shuddh Kalyan. This is an evening rag, and he taught it to me just one-to-one. We were sitting together, and he taught it to me. So I have such fond memories of his teaching me the rag. So I'll make my best attempt to play it correctly.
Thank you. क्या बात अरुण जी, आहा, गुरु जी का याद दिला दिया आपने।
गुरु जी की हमेशा याद रहती है, कभी नहीं भूल सकते उनको। जो कुछ भी बजाते हैं उनकी याद से ही बजाते हैं। और मालूम है गलतियां भी जब करते हैं तो मालूम है वो क्या बोलते हैं। तो गौरव, तुमने कहा था एक बंदिश बजाने को जो गुरुजी ने मेरी मदर को सिखाई थी। मेरी मदर उनसे सीखती थी, कई साल उनसे सीखा मेरी मदर ने।
वही हम लोग
बहुत छोटा था।
हम लोग थोड़ा बात कर लेते हैं, फिर बाद में थोड़ा और
अच्छा,
सुनेंगे अरुण जी। तो let me start with you belong to such a important business family of India, not just Delhi, India. How come?
By the way, Gaurav, before you start and ask me any questions, I can't show the whole photograph on top. The painting on top. That is of Baba Alauddin Khan Sahab. So we are blessed to have this painting here. So all of us who come here and who have the opportunity to sit under that painting and then play or even say something, we are all blessed.
We are all blessed. We are blessed by him, and it's a beautiful, just the sarod itself, you can make out it's Baba because it's left-handed and it's got that thing on the top, that ornament.
That's
and the hand of Baba and his blessings. It is so wonderful. So if you, belonging to such an important business family, Arunji, how did a Shuddha Kalyan like this, with so much of Rag Roop, so much of aesthetics, depth, how did it find a place in your family?
There is a freezing of the frame.
Ji.
The frame is frozen.
Ji.
I can't hear you. Now I can. Now repeat the question again, please.
Yeah. So where did music in such a very important way find a place into the Bharatram family?
Yeah, it's a very interesting and unique story. My mother got married in 1935, and she, before marriage, used to play the sitar. She had learned in a small town where she used to live, and then Uday Shankar ji had come to Delhi, and my grandfather was a great host. So somebody suggested to him that, Uday Shankar is coming, he's got 30 people in his troupe, and can you put them up in your house? So my grandfather had two very big houses in the center of Delhi. So he said, I would be very happy to put them up, especially because my mother Sheila, she insisted that, we should put them up because she learns music, she plays music. So she was very keen that we should put them up. She also learned dancing. So, and I'll talk about that just in a little while. So they came sometime in the 30s after my mother got married. And so Baba was there in that group. And my mother went to him and said that, Baba, I want to learn sitar from you. So Baba said, he used to call her Didi. He said, Didi, अभी आप रोबू से सीखो, मैं रोबू को बोलता हूँ आपको सिखाने के लिए. So my mother was absolutely thrilled. She said, if Robuji is going to teach her, then nothing like it. So Robuji had already been learning for maybe 2-3 years from Baba at that time. So he used to come with Baba many times, especially when the Uday Shankar troupe used to come. He was part of that. So he started teaching my mother right from the late 30s to, because Baba used to come very often to Delhi, and he used to stay in my grandfather's house. And he used to stay for 1 month, 2 months, sometimes even 3 months. And everybody used to come and learn from him there. So Guruji learned from him there. Ali Akbar Khan Sahab learned from him there. Nikhil Da learned. Nikhil Da had, I think, started only in the late 40s. But Baba used to come right until the 50s, used to come and stay with us. So all these great musicians used to come and also learn from him in my grandfather's house. So my mother was absolutely, completely taken in by the music that she used to listen to, and we also got interested in it. My elder brother especially started learning vocal music, and so he wanted to also learn from Baba, and Baba said, "Nee, you are too young just now. You first get everything, all the practice, etc. After that, we will see." So he said, "Robu se sikho." So my brother went to Robuji and said that I want to learn from you. So even Guruji said, no, first you learn from a normal, no, I'm saying normal is not the correct, some teacher from one of the schools. So he learned from Mr. Khastagir, who was a teacher in modern school. So he learned in the beginning. After Guruji heard him, he said, "Arey Baba, tum sab bhul jao kya sikha hai tumne, ab main tumko sikhaunga." So Guruji was not very happy with what he had learned. So Guruji started teaching him. And then in 90, the whole troupe of Uday Shankar ji started the center there, Almora Center in Almora, where they used to have dance and music and everything was being taught there. So Guruji was there, Annapurna ji was there, and my parents decided to also go. My father said, "I want to learn dance also." My mother said, "I also want to learn dance." So there were great dancers there, gurus there. So my mother started learning Manipuri. My father, after a little while, gave up. My father gave up. But I was also there. I was 6 months old. So I don't have any recollection. But I know I was blessed maybe at that time itself, because I was there listening to all that was happening there, of course, unconsciously. But music got established largely because of my mother in our family. There was nobody else in the family who was musically oriented. But because of her, and because my elder brother Vinay first started learning vocal from Guruji and Annapurna ji. First, he started learning from both of them. And then when I was 11 years old, he said, I went to Baba. I said, "Baba, I want to learn sitar." So Baba said, he used to call me Dadu. I don't know why he used to call me Dadu. But he used to say Dadu. He said, "Dadu, I think first you should learn from somebody else. Then only you should learn from Robu." So he put Repti Babu, who used to be one of his students, old students of Baba. So Repti Babu taught me first the basics of playing the sitar. And once I learned that from Repti Babu, then I went to Guruji and I said, "Now I want to learn from you." So he told me, "Sit down, bajao kuch, kya sikha tumne?" So I played a little bit. He said, "Abhi to bahut riyaz karna padega. Abhi to tum bahut bacche ho, abhi itna nahi tumko samajhna aaya. Bahut kuch karna padega." I said, "Theek hai, I'll do it." Unfortunately, just at that time, at the age of 11, I went to boarding school. So when I went to boarding school, I used to come back for 4 months in a year to Delhi. And when Guruji was there, and at that time Annapurna ji and he were living in central Delhi, first in Heli Road, after that Ashoka Road. So I used to go and learn from her also. So when Guruji was not there, when he was traveling or something, I used to go to her and learn from her. And she was such a strict disciplinarian, and she was so strict. and I made another mistake of 8 bar bajao. So, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you, Arunji.
Okay. So she was such a strict disciplinarian, which was good for all musicians, because you know that is the way we learned properly. And so after that, I started learning from both of them. But my learning used to be very limited in the sense that when Guruji was there, I used to learn from him. When he wasn't there, when Annapurna ji was still in Delhi, I used to learn from her. I also did learn from her occasionally when she had moved to Bombay. They had an apartment. They were living there together in Bombay in Little Gibbs Road. So I used to go, and because Guruji was already traveling, so I used to go and learn from her in Bombay also. And I learned from her also when Shubho was there. So she used to make both of us sit together, but Shubho was far, far ahead of me. So I used to be a complete novice in comparison to Shubho. But still, she used to say, उससे भी सीखो, शुभ से भी थोड़ा सीखो. So वो बजाता जैसे है वैसे बजाओ. So it was a great learning for me. But it was something which I think I mean honestly, we were blessed that we had Baba coming and staying with us for so many months at a time. We were blessed that Robuji also used to stay with us before he had got his own house. So he used to stay in our house. And that time I learned a little bit more from him. And you know, I had a very unique relationship with Guruji. Right from the beginning, I'm talking about when I was 12, 13, 14 years old. I used to learn from him whenever I got the opportunity. But he was also a friend. So we used to go to movies together, just the two of us. Used to go to see movies. Or maybe one or two of his other Shishya, Omeo was there, and one or two others. We used to go together to see a movie. And he used to love to see Tarzan movies. So whenever a Tarzan movie was there, we used to definitely go and see the Tarzan movie. And then we used to share comics. He used to love comics. So he used to say, Arun, whenever you get comics, pass them on to me when you're finished reading them. So I used to pass on the comics to him. I'm saying this now because he is no longer there, and I've also shared it with Sukanya. So it's not a secret. He had naughtier books with him, which he used to share with me. I should say naughtier magazines, because he thought I was old enough to learn. So, because he had also learned at a very early age. So he thought that it was time I should also learn the facts of life. So he used to pass on those magazines to me. So imagine that this was the Guru-Shishya relationship we had, and also a relationship as friends. It was very unique, very unique. So when you ask the question, how is it that in a business family the music came into being and etc. It was largely because of my mother. And my mother always insisted on Baba coming and staying with us. So because of that, there were many times when all these great musicians used to learn from Baba. And there were also many times when they were not there and he used to teach others also. I still remember Baba. This was my first experience of Baba when he really got angry, and I saw his anger. Was when there was one Sardaji, I don't even remember his name. Luckily, he should remain nameless, who could never pick up anything Baba was teaching him. But he was so insistent on coming to learn from Baba. He used to come every second day, third day. He used to come and sit in front of Baba and say, "I want to learn. I want to learn." One day, Baba got so fed up and he says, मैं नहीं सिखा सकता, आपको बहुत ज्ञान है, आपको अभी पहले से ही बहुत ज्यादा ज्ञान है, मेरे में इतना ज्ञान नहीं है, मैं नहीं सिखा सकता आपको. So that fellow just refused. He said, नहीं, आपसे सीखना है. But after 3 or 4 more visits, Baba got up, picked up his sitar and hit him on the head with the sitar and said, "Don't ever come back to me. Don't ever come back to me." This was the first time I saw Baba in a real rage. I mean, I had heard about it. Everybody used to talk about it, but I had never seen that before. So it was a unique experience, I would say. But there was one other very interesting thing that had happened in our house, thanks to Baba. When Robuji was in Delhi, Guruji, I sometimes call him Robuji because everyone in our house used to call him Robuji. So my mother, father, everyone, even my who used to learn from him used to call him Robuji. I also started calling him Robuji. So all my life I've called him Robuji. So now after he is no longer there, I now have started calling him Guruji because really he's my Guru. But I used to refer to him as Robuji. I used to say, I always used to call him Robuji, which is Robi. Robi for in Bengali is Robu, affectionately. So Baba used to tell him, Robu, so many great musicians come to Delhi, you know, for All India Radio concerts or for some other conference. You should arrange. Talk to Sheila, that's my mother. Talk to Didi and arrange concerts at home. So we used to, in winter, in our drawing room, we used to have concerts. In the big house, we could accommodate 70, 80 people there. And there were great music lovers who used to come. Or in the summers, we used to sit outside in the garden. And
if I may just one question, Arunji, here. If I may just confirm, this was your house on Curzon Road?
On Curzon Road. We had two, my grandfather had two houses. So we used to live in one house and there was another house in which my uncle lived. But it was it had a large number of rooms which nobody occupied. So it was like,
so this is
more like a...
This is before Lal Koti.
Well, we lived in Choti Koti, which had about 15, 18 bedrooms. Badi Koti, which was the next house, probably had 30 odd bedrooms, of which very few were occupied by my uncle and my granduncle. The rest were all basically just there. So, so when Baba used to tell Guruji that you arrange these concerts, so on Baba's name, he used to get the most fantastic musicians to come and sing and play at home. So we had, I still remember, I was very small because he died very shortly after that, was Fayaz Khan Sahab. So Fayaz Khan Sahab came and sang at our house. And I think within a year after that, he passed away. But then all the great musicians, Bade Ghulam Ali Khan Sahab, Onkar Nath Thakur, you name all the great musicians. See, by then, as far as instrumentalists were concerned, the old generation, excepting Baba and Hafiz Ali also, I think, was there. He was there because he must have passed away, I think, only in the late 50s. But I don't remember his inviting Hafiz Ali Khan Sahab. But
Hafiz Ali Khan Sahab passed away early 70s.
Oh, early 70s. No, I think, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. But I don't think, I don't remember having Hafiz Ali Khan Sahab come to the house to play. And then the next generation was Guruji, Ali Akbar Ji, Vilayat Khan Sahab, all these people. But the concerts then in instrumental used to be either Guruji, Ali Akbar Khan Sahab. Nikhil had not yet come on the stage. He had started learning from Baba only in 1947. So he was not yet ready as far as that was concerned. So Robuji and And Ali Akbar ji played many concerts, and Baba used to be sitting in front, so you can imagine what nervousness they must have had playing in front of them and in front of him. But those were absolutely magical nights that we experienced. So, as far as Vinay and I are concerned, our musical training started because of my mother, because of Baba, because of Robuji, because of Ali Akbar ji, all these people coming to the house, but also because we were listening to such great musicians all the time. So it came into our DNA, it came into our blood that we were listening to this music. So I would say that yes, business was always the first thing that we had to look after and we had to do. So business was the prime thing that we had to do. But more than anybody else, it was my brother Vinay, who was so dedicated, not like I was not. Especially because I went to boarding school, I was not that dedicated and I was not so serious about it also. But Vinay he lived in Delhi only, he didn't go to boarding school. He used to do riyaz every day, at least 2 hours riyaz every day. And he used to learn a lot from Annapurna ji because Guruji was traveling. And whenever Ali Akbar Khan Sahab was there, he used to learn from him. And of course, from Guruji, he learned a lot from Guruji. So he was very fortunate to have learned from all three of them. And people ask sometimes, but Vinay, you're a vocalist. How could you have learned vocal music from these instrumentalists? Whether it is Ravi Shankar playing sitar, Ali Akbar playing sarod, Annapurna ji playing surbahar, how have you learned vocal music from them? So he said, the one who actually taught me the technique of singing was Annapurna ji. And he said, I am sure that Baba had taught it to her. Of course, Guruji, Ali Akbar ji, all were great singers. I mean, we all know that in music, we cannot play anything unless we know how to sing. We may not be good at singing, but we must know how to sing. Because we pick up whatever is being sung, we pick up on our instrument. So, but she taught him the techniques of singing. How to open the mouth, how much to open the mouth, how to sing E, all those tonal qualities from when you sing from your chest, when you sing from your throat, all those techniques she taught him. So she must have learned from Baba. And Baba, of course, was a great vocalist because he had learned from so many gurus. So he had learned vocal music also extensively. So my brother, so he said that why all of them taught me by singing, whether it was Guruji or it was Ali Akbar ji, they used to sing, they used to create bandishes. I have sat with Guruji when he has created many bandishes at the spur of the moment for my brother. At the spur of the moment, he's created. My brother said, Robuji, I want to learn Thumri in Khamaj. So Guruji would say, "Theek hai, baitho, inu baitho." And they used to sit, and I was sitting there also. And he used to compose. He said, "Likho words, likho." And so my brother was writing down the words, and he was just singing it. And within half an hour, 1 hour, there was a whole composition created by him. So he was such a genius that he could just sit and create. And Ali Akbar ji also. Ali Akbar ji also taught him many bandishes which were not originally from Baba. These were bandishes which he also created. So, I mean, this whole, it's a kind of myth that instrumentalists cannot teach vocal music. Vocal music is the basis of our classical music. Without vocal music, we can't learn anything. So all of us may be singing very badly, but we all know how to sing.
Yes. Very important. It always fascinates me, Arunji. You know, it's one thing to have music in the family, music in the house. But whenever I have met you, whenever I have met your family members, I have always been fascinated that music enjoys such an important role in your family, and it's very nice to see uh, that.
You know, what I'm very happy I'm doing in my later life is I'm following what my grandfather, it was not my mother did, which was to have collection of artists coming and singing or playing instruments at home. Baithaks used to be there. And in the old days, in the 50s and 60s, there were, you know, especially from Old Delhi and from many other parts of the city, there used to be music lovers, genuine music lovers. And they could understand music much better than what people today can. So it used to be a fantastic gathering. So I am trying also now to see how I can recreate the Baithaks at home. And I have done it now for, I think, almost 4 years, where I invite great musicians to come and sing or play at home. And it is, and I invite friends and audiences, some of them who don't understand music, some of them who are really music lovers. But it opens the eyes of many of them who have not heard our classical music in a atmosphere of a home, because it's very different. You know how different it is when an artist is singing or playing in a gathering of 50-60 people rather than in a hall, which is very impersonal. The hall is the most impersonal way of presenting your music, because there is no, I mean, you are so far away from your audience. You don't get the daad, you don't get the wah-wah, you don't get the connection between the musician and the audience, because you're sitting so far away. The lights are not there in the hall, so you don't even know whether anybody is enjoying the music. Whereas when you're doing it in a home, it's like the old days. I'm not comparing myself to the kings and the Mughals and all that, but they used to have music in their courts, and there used to be 50-60 people sitting there, and some Tansen or Wazir Khan Sahab or somebody would go and play in their palaces, and that was the way that music was. Well, one can say that it was an elitist form of music, because the people who used to go to the court were generally the courtiers, the elites of that time, who used to go and listen to the music. But nevertheless, in the 30s, 40s, I think I remember Guruji telling me when Baba used to go and play in some place, there used to be 3,000-4,000 people sitting there just waiting for him to come and play. And he used to play for 2 hours, and people used to be sitting quietly and listening. And these were not at all music. I'm not saying lovers, but they didn't understand music the way that we understand it. But they all, and that is why the music was spreading even in those days. But I think our classical music has also, I think to some extent, seen a revival, thanks to many people today who are forming groups to promote music, classical music. So there are many people who are having Baithaks at home. Many people who are having Baithaks. Not necessarily of the greatest artists or the most famous artists, but they will also invite artists who are not that well. But it's a great thing for the artist as well as for people who are listening, because this is a connection that you get when you are listening in a small gathering. So many people have started doing that, which I am very happy about. the other thing is, and in a way, it's also become a social competition. अरे वो अगर ऐसे music कर सकता है in his house, why can't I also do it? Because actually they also get known for it. So it cuts both ways. You know, they're doing some good for the artist. At the same time, they're also getting some, you know, they're getting known for something like this. So it's an interesting thing that is started. They get recognition.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think the greatest way that, and I must congratulate these people, is the Spik Make, who started this movement, I don't know, about 30 years ago, I'm not sure, but I think 25, 30 years
in the 70s, late 70s.
So we are going back much longer.
Late 70s.
Much longer, much before. They started this movement as a voluntary movement, and it is luckily still a voluntary movement. But I know that when the artists come, like we had Girja Didi come and perform in our school. And there were how many children? I think about 500 children. 1,000 children sitting there, from the age of maybe 5, 6 to 15, 16, 17. And they listened with pin drop silence. And they would not let her get up. And this is maybe only about 7, 8 years ago. She was quite that young. And they would not let her get up. And और गाइए दीदी और गाइए and then they started asking a lot of questions, and I was very surprised that these are the children who otherwise will pick up a guitar and play a guitar, or they will play pop music and not listen to any classical music. I must say Girja Devi ji Didi also knew how to talk to them, how to entice them into listening to classical music. He was very good at it.
Yes.
And so the interest that was created, and there have been so many great musicians who have played in front of these children. So I always think like this, that out of that, if even 10% or 15% of the children get some ear for music, they may not become musicians, they may not pick up any instrument or vocal or anything, but at least they may be the future generation who will go to listen to concerts, who will go to listen to artists. Maybe they will be the ones who will keep our music alive, and that they will be the ones who will be the audiences of the future.
Sure.
So for that, I give a lot of credit to Spik Make, because this is one organization which has done it in thousands and thousands of institutions. Now we support them from our foundation, from our company foundation, and every year South, East, West, and we support them financially, and so they were telling me that maybe about 30,000-40,000 children and college students are listening to the music in these institutions. So imagine, out of that, if 5,000 of them become, music lovers, it's a huge amount that we have created.
Very much.
So
very
that's
much.
a great thing.
Very important thing.
I forgot to mention
Arunji.
one incident. Can I relate one incident from my childhood? Guruji used to play very often for my father. My father was also very fond of music. he understood music and he's fond of music. He was never played any instrument, but or sang, but he was very fond of music. So one day he said to Guruji, Rubuji, आप घर पे बजाइए और हम सिर्फ शीला, मैं और वीनू और अरुण बैठ के सुनेंगे. So Guruji said, ठीक है. So then my father said, but it's very hot, middle of summer. So he said, my room is the only one which has got an air conditioner. So you will have to come and play in my room. So he had, who was, he had Kanthe Maharaj. He got Kanthe Maharaj to come and play. Now there was, my father's room was a very tiny room. There was one bed here, there was a gap, and then there was another bed on the other side. So Guruji sat on one bed, my Kanthe Maharaj sat on the other bed, we sat on the floor, and Guruji had, because the air conditioner was ancient, it used to make us noise. So Guruji said, don't worry, I will tune it to that. So he tuned his sitar to the sound coming from the air conditioner. That was the Tanpura, electronic Tanpura at that time. So he tuned it to that and he played for about 2.5 hours. And he also got, into the whole spirit of it. And Kanthe Maharaj also unique for Kanthe Maharaj to be sitting and playing like this. So this is one incident of my childhood I can't forget ever.
What an amazing moment it must have been. It's such a what a moment. That reminds me.
It was just that Guruji was always willing to
always willing to share and
throughout his life. And Ali Akbar ji maybe about 20-30 times.
That reminds me.
Annapurna ji never played.
Oh, she never played.
Never played in the house. But that famous recording of Guruji and hers playing Yaman. That's there on YouTube. Yaman Kalyan.
Yeah.
You heard that recording.
Yes.
That Yaman Kalyan, of them playing Ful Bahar. That recording was done by my brother, by Vinay. And he hid the mic from Annapurna ji because she had refused that I will not let anybody record it. So he hid the mic in such a way that she could not see the mic. And he did the recording. And then after that, we don't know how that recording came out in the public and it went on to YouTube, which is fine. Everybody should listen to it. We've lost one recording. They had made 2 records. Huh?
एक और बजाए थे.
Recording is missing. We can't find it. Gaurav,
I'm here, but it's freezing. It's freezing somehow. So I'm not able to hear the whole thing.
Can you hear me?
So you said there were.
So there was another recording of Rag Desh. There was another recording of Rag Desh they played after Yaman Kalyan, but I can't find that recording anywhere. I've looked everywhere. I can't find that. It was an old tape recorder, and I can't find that recording. That was also
that brings me to
only
Alap. That brings me to a question, Arunji. There are 2 incidents I remember you telling me. One is when you were very little Guruji was teaching your mother Khamaj, and he taught your mother a bandish in Tappa style.
Well, Gaurav, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Yes,
Yeah,
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So there is that incident of your mother learning when you were quite small, Khamaj, and Guruji taught a composition in Tappa style.
There. If it was a Saturday or Sunday, no school, I used to come and sit there. And I must have been 6, 7, 8 years old. I used to sit there and I used to listen to Guruji, and he was teaching her this bandish. And it was so beautiful, that bandish, that I picked it up. I never learned it from him, I picked it up. Then afterwards, it must be about 10, 15 years ago, I asked him, Prabhuji, you taught that bandish to my mother. He said, Bajao, Bajao. So I played it, and he said, मुझे याद नहीं आ रही है ये बंदिश, मुझे याद नहीं आ रहा है. I said, Prabhuji, I could not have made that bandish. I could not have created that bandish. It was too beautiful to have been made by me. This must have been made by you only. So he said, याद नहीं आ रही है, पर अगर मैंने ये सिखाया था, तो ये मैंने बाबा से सीखा होगा, और ये टप्पा होगा. So I said, I can't even play. Played in somewhere between Madhya and Dhrotle. So he said that मुझे याद नहीं है. So then I said, but it doesn't seem to be complete. Please complete it for me. He said, नहीं, अब जो उस वक्त सिखाया था. So he didn't even complete it for me, because there's no antra, nothing in that that I could remember.
But उसका वो एक बंदिश जो incomplete है, but still it's a beautiful. I have heard it from you. That and that देश का बंदिश थोड़ा आप सुनाएंगे हम लोगों को? जी, आपका वॉइस नहीं आ रहा है अरुण जी. Your voice, I can't hear you.
Do you want me to play? Do you want me to play please, that bandish?
That bandish and that.
I try to play it. It's I mean, I find it even difficult to play on the sitar just like that at Vilambit, in Vilambit. So I can't imagine how Guruji must have played it as a tappa. But it must have been only because of people like him being able to play it in a tappa style. So it goes something like this.
Beautiful,
really
beautiful.
Is, it really
And
is
Arunji,
beautiful.
it's very beautiful. There is another composition in Desh.
Oh, that is a very common gat. All of us have learnt it. It is actually Baba's gat.
जी उसको
Baba's gat, which I think everyone, Baba, Ali Akbar ji plays it, Guruji used to play it. Then, of course, he started playing other bandishes also in Drut. There's a Drut bandish, and then Nikhil. So this is
beautiful,
old
bandish. Beautiful bandish, beautiful, absolutely. It's so much full of the rag,
for all of us who play sitar, this mark keeps going up. So I had to make a new mark. So that new mark is not yet completely settled. So I'm still struggling sometimes to play. That's why it's not coming clear. I'm not being able to play clearly.
It's very clear. It was very clear. Arunji, I have a question here. I want to ask you, when it comes to Ragdari, when it comes to the purity of the rag, tell us about Guruji's approach. Guruji's approach in dealing with all these rags. You started with Shuddha Kalyan, then Khamaj, then Des abhi aapne bajaya. How beautifully the rag roop comes out. So wo rag ka jo shuddhata tha Guruji ka, that purity of the rag, that was so special about him. Please tell us about that, Arunji.
You know, there is so much said and so much written about Guru. Music and to Indian music and things like that. So much criticism has been made. But I know for a fact, all of us who are musicians, and especially from the Mayyar Gharana, especially from the Drupad Ang, we all understand and know that whenever he played a classical rag, there was no element of anything outside the rag the way he had learned it from Baba. There was no way that he would go outside that. Never, never. There are other musicians who will remain nameless even from our Gharana, who sometimes took liberties in rag. But Guruji never did that. And I just want to relate one incident because my brother Vinay, he learned from all the three great students of Baba, Ali Akbar Khan Sahab, Annapurna ji, Guruji. And he was once telling me that he had been learning Shri from all of them. And somehow or the other, the Re that they was talking about, the way you go from Re to Pa, was different in the way that Annapurna ji taught it, the way that Ali Akbar Khan Sahab taught it, the way that Guruji taught it. So he once went to her and said, देखिए आपने बताया ऐसे रे से पा जाना है, अली अकबर जी ने बोला है ऐसे जाना है और गुरुजी ने बोला है कि ऐसे जाना है, तो इसमें से कौन सा ठीक है? तो she said two things. She said, you know, Baba was also a very creative person. He could have taught it slightly differently to different people. He could have. But normally in the rag, he never went outside the rag. Baba never went outside the rag. So she told him that if there is any difference between the three of us, then you please follow whatever Panditji has taught you. Because that is the correct thing. He will never go outside the rag. She said, भैया भी जाते हैं कभी-कभी राग से अलग. मैं कोशिश करती हूँ नहीं जाना बाहर, पर अगर राग है किसी का तो पंडित जी का राग. So this was a very great acknowledgement that came from her, and you know they were not on good terms, but she said this very clearly to him कि जैसे उन्होंने सिखाया वो ठीक है.
क्या बात.
So
Arunji,
as all of us know that Guruji had a memory of an elephant, beyond even an elephant. Anything that he heard once, he would remember it. He would pick it up and he would remember.
Correct.
So when I asked him, how many rags do you know, Robuji, कितने राग आते हैं आपको? He said, बेटा, ऐसे तो सीखे तो इतने सारे नहीं हैं. सीखे तो मैंने बाबा से इतने होंगे, I don't remember the numbers. But he said, बाबा बहुत सारे राग सिखाते नहीं थे, बजाते थे या औरों को सिखाते थे, मैं सब सीख लेता था. So he had a absolutely razor sharp memory, and he could pick up anything anywhere. So this was a great attribute that he had, which was his amazing memory. The other thing was,
Beautiful.
coming back, yeah, go ahead, you were asking something.
No, I'm listening.
So the other thing that he, that he's criticized about, he has created orchestras and all that. You listen to all his old orchestras of 1940s, 50s, etc. The Vadyavrind in All India Radio. They were all Indian instruments, and of course, in those days,
Yes.
I say luckily, maybe people think that I am very old-fashioned. Dr. Kelkar had banned the harmonium.
Ji.
He has said harmonium Indian instrument नहीं है, ये और कुछ नहीं है, ये तो सिर्फ ऑर्गन है, वेस्टर्न म्यूजिक का ऑर्गन, उसको छोटा बना के उसके साथ ये महाराष्ट्रियन लोग गाते हैं. He himself was a Maharashtrian Kelkar, Dr. Kelkar. ये मराठी लोग अपने वो उनके जो वो होते हैं प्लेज वगैरह, जो folk plays and all that, उसमें ये हारमोनियम बजाते हैं. ये क्लासिकल म्यूजिक में इसका क्या है वो लेना देना? It's all staccato. You go from one note to another note. There is no glide. There is no mean from one note to another. So this was something which Guruji never used in the orchestra. And we can listen to many of his orchestra compositions. There are
many
beautiful Vachaspati he has created in Rag Vachaspati.
Yes.
That's one of his most famous ones. But there are many orchestra pieces that he has created in All India Radio. And he's used South Indian Veena, he's used violin, because violin had become an Indian instrument. And he has used many other instruments, but he used Shehnai because that's an Indian instrument. He did not use clarinet and all that. He used clarinet when he was doing something in the Western, the thing he did with the orchestra.
Concerto.
Yeah. But he always says those concertos were not Indian music, not classical music. Those were not classical. So he's compartmentalized it. And he says, this is experimental music that I have done. And some people like it, some people may not like it. But as far as classical music is concerned, I always believe that it has to be pure classical music. And I think you must have also heard it from him, being one of his Shishya, that no. This whole controversy, कि ये मैयर घराने में गायकी नहीं है, गायकी और लोग बजाते हैं, तो उनके यहाँ गायकी नहीं होता है. तो गुरुजी jokingly used to say, क्या हम भैंस की बजाते हैं क्या? तुम लोग गायकी बजाते हैं तो क्या हम भैंस की बजाते हैं क्या?
Correct.
So he says, I don't understand what people think is gaiki. Gaiki is whatever you sing. So he says, we have learned everything from singing. There is a video of Guruji having gone to visit Baba when Baba was about 100 years old. I think everybody must have seen that video. And Guruji sitting in front of Baba like this. Baba is sitting on his usual takat and Guruji sitting in front of him like this. And Baba is singing Bhairavi, which is not very much in tune because of his age. And Guruji is following it very meticulously. And Baba is singing it and he's following it. Now, that is Bhainski. I don't understand. How can that be Bhainski?
Correct.
Just look at
Absolutely.
the mean that we play and the tans we play in mean. I'm not able to do it because I don't play that much. But Guruji and all, Nikhilda, they used to play mean tans with mean in Nikhilda. So I don't know what people mean by that. But that's one of those differences people have tried to artificially create, I think.
Yeah.
Because and there is another thing. Nikhilda had a different view, but I don't agree with Nikhilda that the first sitar student of Guruji, serious sitar student of Baba, was Guruji. Before that, he may have taught in the Mayer band, or he may have taught some children, someone sitar, but nobody seriously like Guruji. And what did he teach him? He was teaching him Sur Bahar. Along with sitar, he was teaching him Sur Bahar. So if you look at all photographs of Guruji in the Uday Shankar troupe, he had very simple sitar. You remember seeing the photographs of Guruji in those, when he's sitting there and then he's playing like this in that. All sitars with very narrow neck and with maybe only 5-6 strings, not even tarab strings in that. Now when he went to Mayer and he started learning from Baba, he was learning Sur Bahar also. It is Baba and Guruji together who innovated and invented the deep strings in the sitar and made that a combination of a sitar and a Sur Bahar.
Yes.
It was the two of them who did this. Nikhilda doesn't agree with it. He thinks that Baba did it. But Baba was not a sitar player. He was not a Sur Bahar player. He used to play either the Sur Sringar or he used to play the Saroj and of course many other instruments. Of course he could play the sitar. But it was not his main instrument. It was not like that. So my feeling is that it was they both together made this happen in the sitar because of the Sur Bahar.
Exactly. Absolutely. And also bring in the Beenang in that. जो रुद्र वीणा का जो ध्रुपद था,
वो तो था ही. See, our style is entirely based on Wazir Khan Saab's, largely Wazir Khan Saab's style of Beenkar Gharana. That is what Baba learned from him, was the Beenkar Gharana. He learned from so many other gurus, and so therefore he could also play Thumri and he could also play many other forms of rags, and which were Chanchal rags, he learned also from other gurus. But the serious Drupad and Dhamar, he learned from Wazir Khan Sahab. And the Drupad Ang is basically Beenkara. So that is what he brought about in the sitar, which was a very difficult thing to do. And
very difficult.
Nobody outside our Gharana plays the Beenkar Ang of the sitar, where you really have the Drupad being actually shown as a Drupad. So that is the beauty of the Mayer Gharana.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's so beautifully put, Arunji. Absolutely.
And then, you know, Guruji was also criticized for other experimentations that he did. I mean, you know, teaching the Beatles and all was just a phase in his life when he did that. That was, I think, a non-serious phase of his. But when he also experimented with other types of music, other instruments and things like that, why not? Because he said that is, I'm not bringing that into my classical music. That's a completely different genre. My classical music is my classical music. That will never change. That is very precious, and that is something which I will never compromise.
Absolutely. And till the very end, till his last breath, till his last concert, he maintained that he played pure the Beenkar style, the Drupad style, and
Absolutely.
kept the purity of the rag and the tal. So,
Absolutely.
Arunji, thank you very much for coming.
Before you end, I just want to say one thing which is more for maybe some of the listeners. It's maybe of interest, may not be of interest. You know, all my life there were in spurts that I used to learn from him. That whenever I was here or he was here and I was also here, I used to go and learn from him. Many times we used to sit together and learn, especially in 95 Lodi Road. So those were the times when we used to sit together and learn. Or once or twice when I went to California, I went to San Diego and I learned from him there. But there were very few instances where I had serious training from him. I didn't have that. A lot of my music has come just by listening to him, just by listening. And I have been fortunate to have listened to him from the age of 4 or 5. So I think a lot of it I have absorbed, a lot of my music I have absorbed from him, Ali Akbar ji, not so much from Annapurna ji because I didn't hear her. I heard her doing riyaz. When I used to go to learn from her, she used to make me sit in one room and practice, and she used to go to her room and she used to do she used to play her surba there. So I used to put my sitar down and I used to listen to her. So, but I think a lot of my learning came just by listening to them from my childhood. And of course, I learned the techniques and everything from Guruji and from Annapurna ji, and I started playing accordingly. But I have to confess that I gave up playing sitar about 15, 16 years ago. Completely stopped. I was involved in my business. I was having a lot of problems and things like that. I completely stopped. And it was as though I just had put blinkers on my eyes and my ears, I didn't want to learn. And Guruji used to keep telling me, अरे बेटा क्यों नहीं सीखते हो, तुम्हारा हाथ अच्छा है, सब कुछ है, तुम्हारा दिमाग है, सब कुछ है, सीखते क्यों नहीं हो? मैं बैठ के सिखाऊंगा, तुम आ जाओ कैलिफोर्निया में, तुमको बैठ के सिखाऊंगा. So I always used to say no, I'm not able to. I've got too much other things going on. It's only 7 years ago that when my wife Manju was very seriously ill, that she told me that, you know, you have learned so much from Guruji. You have to promise me you will start again and you will never give up. So she said, I will not be there for very long, but you have to promise me that you will do this. So I thought about it. I said, I don't want to make a promise that I will not be able to keep. And Guruji was also ill. By the way, just for your information, they both passed away on the same day. Guruji in California and Manju here. So I thought about it, and before she passed away, 2 months before she passed away, I said, okay, I will start and I will never give it up. So now it's been 7 years since I've been practicing and I've been playing. And I decided, because I was already 73, 74 years old at that time, I decided that I am just going to play alap and jod alap and jod alap. Because my hands and all will not be able to give me the ability to play, fast songs and with the tabla. Because with a tabla, then you have to go to a completely different way of playing the sitar. But if I am playing for myself and I am playing alap and I am playing jod, it is for myself that I am doing it. So I started doing that, and today it is for me like a meditation. It is for me like a prayer. It is like that. It is that I am doing this not for others, but I am doing it for myself. Maybe it is a selfish way of thinking, but I do also when my children or people like you say that no, you should play something for others also, that I come forward and I play something. But you are a sitar player, you are a musician. You know that it's so difficult to play any instrument unless you have perfect practice in it. So I will always tend to make mistakes when I am playing. So I hesitate sometimes to play in front of other people. But maybe I should not. Maybe I should tell them that, look, if I make mistakes, I do make mistakes. But those are slips. It's like the slip of the tongue when you are singing or you're playing something. It is like the slip of the tongue. Maybe that's what I should say. But maybe I should play for other people also. So,
but Arunji, let me tell you, people are listening. Chinnama has been with us from the beginning, listening to this.
Oh, I am so
And
happy
in
that
front
she's
of
there. Sukanya, well, you call her Chinnama, I call her Sukanya because I've known her since way when she was 17 years old. That's the time I got to know her. This was in London when she was flitting about
London.
Guruji's house, and Manju and I said, "There is something dal mein kala." That there is something happening here between her and Guruji. I'm saying it to her, that I'm addressing her about this, not anybody else. But I've said this to her many times. So, and in public also, so she knows I'm not making any this thing. But so I call her Sukanya because she's so much younger than me also. But Sukanya has also been, apart from the fact that she's been such a great support for Guruji, such a great support for Guruji. In his later life, he could not have found a better partner. A partner who sacrificed a lot for him and who gave him the inspiration to continue to play for so long. I don't know whether he would have done it if it hadn't been for her. So I think a lot of credit has to go to her. So Sukanya, if you are listening, if you're there,
I must read because she is writing some message. I have to read it for you. So she's saying, when you spoke of Guruji and Manjuji, so she's writing here 7 years, 9 months and 7 days ago, they both left, Guruji and dear Manju. 7 years, 9 months and 7 days.
That's true.
That's how accurate Chinnama is. And she's absolutely, and we remember Manjuji so fondly. She always, gave so much love to us, so much, always with a smile, elegance.
Yeah.
That's
She
what
always had a smile. She always had a smile, and she was very elegant also. But she also encouraged me in my music. Even when I was working, she used to push me to do my music. But anyhow, I think life must go on. So Sukanya, I wish you all the best, and I can never forget my Guru. I can never forget my Rubuji. I can never forget my friend also, because we did so many things which Guru Shishyas are not supposed to do. But we enjoyed life absolutely to the last bit. So I'm so happy that you invited me to speak, and sorry if I made some mistakes.
No, Arunji, I have to.
My sitar, but everyone thinks that, if you're not playing well, you're making excuses about your sitar. My sitar is actually, the Jawari is not perfect because it has been now many months since the.
But I have to mention here, Arunji, there is no mistake. आपने जो आज बजाया और जब भी हम सुनते हैं. In fact, there is a lot to learn. नहीं. There is a lot to learn because you have got the talim. You have got the talim.
Talim is fine. I'm very lucky to have got talim. But हाथ तो फिसलता है. I know when I'm playing out of tune. Nobody else will say it, but I know when I'm playing.
I'm going to disagree there, but I'm really thankful, Arunji. You came and gave so much time and valuable, this was
no. For me, this was a great honor. This was a great opportunity to pay my respects to Guruji and to pay my, to remember him on his 100th anniversary. What a human being he was. Thank you. Thank God that I got to know him when I was 6 months old.
What a journey. What a journey. From then till now.
I'm almost 80, so I can very well say I've known him longer than most people have.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I'll invite Nabarun to say the last words for today. And thank you once again, Arunji. My regards to you, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Sure.
Thank you, Uncle. Thank you, Uncle, so much to coming to the show, reflections, and sharing your memories with Mama. Nicely heard about your memories. Be safe. And till then, good night. Good night, Gauravda. And
Thank
to the
you.
viewers of Pandit Ravi Shankar Music Foundation, tomorrow once again we will be here at 8 p.m. with another eminent personality talking and sharing the memories of Panditji. Till then, good night and be safe. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good night, Uncle.
Good night.